Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do day 4 of DIY Dollar Tree Impossibly Easy Christmas Crafts. This one is a wreath pillow. Yes, we're going to use 2 placemats. These are really nice tapestry placemats in the shape of a wreath. And we're going to use all of your plastic shopping bags that you don't want anymore. Okay. Now, I know that there are 100 tutorials out here of how to glue 2 placemats together and make a wreath. I mean, a pillow. Sorry. When I originally bought these, I was like, I really want to make a square pillow. Like everybody makes that, just they glue the edges together and make a rectangle pillow, and that's the end of it, call a day. The more I thought about it, I thought this would make an amazing round pillow. And the thing that I love about it that makes it impossibly easy is that because of the fact that the wreath is not perfectly round, like it has a sprig sticking out here and a sprig sticking out there, even if you're not an even gluer, like even if you can't glue in a perfect circle, it still looks like it could have been on purpose. So that's really why I want this to be like a beginner's craft. Now, the only extra thing that I'm doing, I'm taking this an extra mile, is I am opening up the seams at the top and the bottom, because they did sew the top of the wreath over, and they sewed the bottom of the wreath over. And I wanted to just give myself an extra 1/4 of an inch to glue on, that I wouldn't lose too much of the roundness of the wreath shape. So you can do this, you can skip this. I just have a skinny scissor, which I actually got at the Dollar Tree a long time ago. I don't think they sell them anymore. And I'm just feeding it underneath that seam. It fits very nicely. They do sell seam rippers. You could just take a regular scissor and just work the tips easily. But you can see, even though this is 2 times speed, you can see how fast it really is going. It just takes a few minutes to get through, and I'm not going from end to end. I'm just opening up enough for me to actually create that round shape a little bit at the top. And like I said, this is totally optional. It's just going to make our wreath a little bit bigger. Now, if you're the kind of person who loves a perfect circle, you're probably going to want to make your circle inside of the wreath a little bit, basically so that there's nothing but green around the edges, because even with opening the seams, this isn't a perfect wreath shape. But I just knew that I wanted to do it. Now, what I was originally going to do was to make 2. I was just going to take some Dollar Tree fabric of any kind. They sell pillowcases, they sell t-shirts, they sell towels, they sell fabric in all shapes and sizes, and I was going to back it with a solid color. But when I had them together, I was like, this would be perfect. I know exactly where I want to keep it. I have a chair with an open back, so I wanted it to be a print on both sides. All I did was put the 2 sides down, I finger pressed the seam open, which just basically takes the heat of your hand and lightly presses the objects, whatever you're finger pressing. And then I lined up the wreaths. I just flipped it back and forth to make sure that they were lined up the best they could. And then I just started with one side. This is just regular hot glue. This isn't Gorilla Hot Glue because it's fabric. I do have it on the highest setting because this is a tapestry and it can take it. And I'm just going to go around the wreath. You can follow along all of the pine on one side if you want to, but then you might cut off some pine on the other side. So I'm just going to exaggerate the edge a little bit. And like I said, this isn't a perfect circle, and I think it really does add to the beauty of the wreath. Now, I did glue the tops and the bottoms because they had such a thin edge. I didn't want to risk burning myself while I was turning the edges under. But it may be easier for some of you because the edges are already folded, so you know exactly where to put the glue. But I just went around like a C, and I left one of the sides open. And then I put my hand, well, I'm not there yet, but once I wait for it to be completely cooled off. And when you put your glue gun on high heat, it does take, or you have a high temperature glue gun, it does take a little longer for the glue to set up. So after the glue is nice and cool, because you don't want to do this while the glue is hot, not only just risk burning yourself, but risk ungluing your object. I'm putting my hand inside and I'm feeling around the edge to see if there's any holidays. Holes missing, open, glue spots that I didn't glue well enough, type of thing. And if there is, go back and touch up. You can do that from the underside, from the back side. If there isn't, you're going to go ahead and go to the next step, which is just cutting it out. You want to leave some of the edge around there. The edge that is left open, I left quite a bit. And again, if you cut too close, it's just going to make it a little bit more risky for you to try to glue that without burning yourself. But what I did was I went around from where it's hard to cut through the seam. That's what I was trying to say. So if you start cutting from where you already opened the seam, it'll cut much easier. And then I just cut around basically the C where I glued and left a little bit extra over on the opening. And then once I have that all cut, we're going to turn it right sides together. Now I'm jumping ahead in the instructions to say you could trim this as well. They do sell all kinds of different trims. With like you do like a pretty gold ribbon would be pretty. Any of the satin ribbons would be nice. If you wanted to add a bow, I would definitely add a satin ribbon bow, because if you sat on it, it wouldn't hurt like a wire edged ribbon bow or like a glittery ribbon bow would probably be uncomfortable. It would also self-recover easier. Satin bows do a little bit of self-recovering, meaning like if somebody sits against a wire-edged bow, they'll flatten the wire edge and it'll stay flattened until someone fluffs it up. With a satin ribbon, you have a longer time where you sit on it, and even if it's flattened, it still looks done, if that makes any sense. It doesn't look like it needs to be fluffed up again. So now we're going to turn it right sides together. And again, you want to be careful because we just glued this. Obviously, if you have a sewing machine and you love to sew, go ahead and sew this. This would be perfectly sewed. I just want to make it easy we got to make it impossibly easy. And now I'm just turning it right sides together. I'm turning it right side out. And I'm taking that same thing where I put my hand in, push out the seams, and I'm just hand pressing, basically finger pressing the seams down. I'm trying to do this just to create a nice smooth edge. Now you don't have to do that, that's optional. We're going to end up stuffing it to the nines anyway. It just makes it a little bit more finished looking. If you did want to take your cool iron, I would take your iron on cool setting, not only because this is polyester, but because you used glue, hot glue. If you felt like you really wanted to iron it to give it a more finished look, you absolutely could. But you see what I mean? How like it's not a perfect circle, but it looks like it was intentional. And that's why I wanted to add this very simple DIY to the Impossibly Easy crafts this week. Now we are really going to stuff the heck out of this. You don't have to. It's 100% optional. But the plastic bags do tend to stay flattened when they get flattened. Fiberfill is like self-puffs back up. Obviously over 10 years that's how pillows get flat, but from moment to moment you can fluff a pillow back up again. A lot of times with the plastic bags, once they have been compacted and your body heat is sitting up against them, they will not recover back to the way they were. So I really am taking my time, and I'm not counting. Are you counting? Probably 100 shopping bags, maybe 60 shopping bags. We're going to do just one at a time. I've taken each one, sort of opened it, squished it back, and then laid it in the pillow. And I've pushed them all towards the edges of the seams to really get the seams to open up and really make them just look full. Now, as I was doing this, I was like, this would have been a really cool project if we had glued the two middles of the wreaths together and just basically stuffed donut shape. Wouldn't that be cool? If you sew, that would be also another great idea. But we're just going to make it into a round pillow. It's going to go, like I said, it's going to go on a chair with an open back so you'll be able to see it from the other side. And I just wanted it to be as comfortable as possible. Now, it is a very stiff pillow. It's not very squishy, but that's okay. I don't mind. And the fact that these placemats are made out of polyester and the plastic bags are plastic bags, I'm going to actually put this on my covered porch. It's actually going to go outside, and I'm not going to worry about it in the elements. My only sideways rain and sideways snow actually gets on my covered porch. So I'm not really too worried about it, just to give you an idea of what I'm going to do with it. So I'm really happy that I chose to use all of these recyclable bags. Plus, in the pillow, not in the ground. That's all I have to say. You guys, if you've been around for a while, you know I rant and rave about, not rant and rave, but I rant and rant about all the plastic shopping bags you get from Walmart grocery pickup. So this is a great way to use up all of those plastic bags. Okay. So now we're just going to get to the end, and I'm telling you, look, I stuffed the heck out of this thing. We're going to fold the edges over, and I'm working in very small sections. I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. One, obviously, it's safer. Two, because it's round, it's not like you could just put a whole bead of glue across and fold a straight, basically pull it straight. You're going to have to do a little piece at a time to keep that round edge. And that's it. Just throw it on your favorite chair and go to town. Hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. Hopefully it gives you some ideas to think outside the box. If you have any questions at all, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to check out the rest of the videos in the playlist. The playlist is linked in the description box down below. And as always, you guys take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye.